In the previous lecture, I introduced you the syllabus of Botany Paper 1 for Semester 1. Well friends, we will begin our study with Unit 1, that is Algae. In this lecture, we will discuss the salient features of the group Algae. I hope you have learned about this group in your previous standards. Algae are simple plants which show absence of several features which characterize the land plants. They show absence of the roots, leaves, stomata and complex tissues such as the xylem and phloem. Most algae grow in aquatic environments, both freshwater as well as marine habitats. However, few algae also occur in wet terrestrial habitats. Some algae even grow in dry environments where they live in symbiosis with the fungus, forming the lichen. The word algae is derived from the Latin word alga, which means the seaweed. The study of algae is also called the phycology. Phycos in Greek means the seaweed and logos means the discourse or study. According to the Journal of Phycology, there are about 30,000 to more than 1 lakh species of algae in the world. The size in algae ranges from the microscopic unicells up to the large scalps which measure hundreds of feet in length. The other common names applied to the group algae include the pond scum, water mosses or seaweeds. So algae have simple plant bodies. The plant body in algae is a thallus. The thallus may be a unicell as in case of this chlorella, or it may be simply a filament as in case of this Spirogyra, or it may be sheet-like as in case of the ulva. You can see in land plants, the plant body is differentiated into complex structures such as the root, stem, leaves, etc. Algae also show absence of the complex tissues that characterize the land plants. In fact, the land plants need complex tissues such as the xylem and phloem for transportation of water from the soil up to the shoot. Since algae are primarily found in aquatic habitats, structures such as the root, stem, leaves are not needed by the algae. So as we most know, the algae are commonly found in aquatic habitats, both freshwater as well as marine water. But some algae are also found in damp terrestrial environments and some even in dry environments where the algae lives in symbiosis with the fungus, forming the lichen. Here you can see how the algae forms the scum over the water surface. That is why the algae are also referred as the pond scum or the water moss as they grow on the surface, as they grow on the water surface. So here you can see the example of the terrestrial alga, that is nostoc. You can see the conspicuous blue-green nostoc balls. In the next photo, you can also see how these moist stones are covered with the mat of algae. In fact, earlier there was water, but the water has dried and the filaments have settled on the moist rocks. But still there is presence of enough moisture. That's why you can see the prolific growth of the algae on these moist rocks. The another example of the terrestrial alga is this ulva, which grows on the exposed rocks on the seashores. You can see the characteristic sheet-like thallus of the ulva. So this nostoc and ulva are examples of the terrestrial algae. Now lichens, as we know, is a combination of the alga and the fungus. The intricate association of the alga and fungus forms the patch of the lichen. The algae and fungus lives in symbiotic relation in the lichen. So here we can understand that the formation of lichen enables the alga to live on the dry environment, such as this dry bark of the tree. Now the question is, how many species of algae are there in the world? So according to the Michael D. Gury, in his research paper, how many species of algae are there in the world, from the Journal of Phycology, the estimated number of species of algae in the world range anything between 30,000 to more than 1 million species. So this is the probable estimate for the number of species of algae in the world, which range. Now let us have a glimpse over the size range in algae. The size in algae ranges from microscopic unicells to the large kelps which grow hundreds of feet in length. Here you can see the microscopic cells of the algae chlorella. Similarly, in Spirogyra, the filaments are like silk fibers, few microns in width. The Macrocystis pyrifera is an example of the large kelp which grows hundreds of feet in length. So you can see this large kelp forms the so-called the kelp forests in the oceans. The thallus is quite differentiated, showing a stem-like and leaf-like parts.